In the 2023-24 Premier League season, Manchester United's Antony had found himself under intense scrutiny. With 21 appearances to his name, Antony has faced a lot of criticism during his time playing. Known for his fancy moves, he often keeps the ball for too long and doesn't pass when he should, which frustrates his teammates. His focus on style over results has led to missed chances, and his inconsistent performances in important games have raised questions about his ability to handle pressure. Antony's reluctance to help defend has been a concern for the team's overall balance. Well now fans, a damning statistic for a player whose transfer to Manchester United was among the most expensive in the league's history. Fans, pundits, and analysts alike are now asking the same question. How did Manchester United come to value Antony at a staggering €100 million, making him one of the priciest signings ever in the Premier League? The debate over overrated players is not new. Antony's underperformance so far placed him front and center in these conversations. Other names, like Liverpool's Darwin Núñez and Chelsea's Mykhailo Mudryk, are frequently mentioned in this context. However, while Núñez and Mudryk have shown flashes of potential, Antony has been unable to produce anything in English football so far. Many now consider him to be the most disappointing player in the league this season. Manchester United's decision to shell out such an astronomical amount for Antony was heavily influenced by then-new manager Ten Hag, who had previously managed Antony at Ajax. When Ten Hag took over at Manchester United in the summer of 2022, the club was desperately seeking to return to its former glory after years of inconsistency and underachievement. Ten Hag, who was seen as a cerebral and tactical manager, was entrusted with the task of rebuilding the team. One of his first moves was to recommend the signing of Antony, a player he had worked with closely in the Eredivisie. Antony had his moments in the Eredivisie, displaying flair and technical skill that made him an exciting prospect. He was a flashy player, known for his dribbling and skill moves, and he had been named Eredivisie Player of the Month at one point. At Ajax, Antony occasionally dazzled with his ability to beat defenders and create chances, although even then his game had its shortcomings. But Manchester United, trusting in Ten Hag's judgment and vision, decided to pay top dollar to secure Antony's services. At the time, many questioned the €100 million fee. It was a steep price for a player who, while promising, had yet to truly prove himself on the global stage. However, Manchester United seemed confident that Antony would make the transition to the Premier League seamlessly, bringing the same creativity and attacking prowess he displayed in the Netherlands. Unfortunately for the Red Devils, that has not been the case. One of the most significant criticisms of Antony's game is his over-reliance on skill moves. These tricks and dribbles, while eye-catching, often contribute little to advancing the play or creating real opportunities. In the Eredivisie, where the level of defending is not as intense as in the Premier League, Antony could get away with this style of play. He would slow the ball down, perform stepovers or feints, and try to beat his marker. At Ajax, this sometimes worked, and fans were treated to moments of flair and audacity. In the Premier League, however, Antony's bag of tricks has largely failed. Premier League defenders are more physical, disciplined, and tactically astute. They are not as easily fooled by Antony's stationary dribbles or stepovers. As a result, Antony has been largely ineffective when trying to take on defenders one-on-one. He often finds himself cornered, forced to pass the ball back to his teammates, or losing possession entirely. His take-on success rate, which measures how often a player successfully dribbles past an opponent, has nosedived since his arrival in England. In his final season at Ajax, Antony had an impressive 66% take-on success rate, meaning he beat defenders more than two-thirds of the time. However, in his first season at Manchester United, that number plummeted to 39%, and this season it has dropped even further to an all-time low of 32.6%. To put this into perspective, Antony now beats his defender less than one-third of the time, placing him in the bottom percentile of wingers in the Premier League in this category. This drastic decline in Antony's ability to beat defenders is not just a matter of individual form. It speaks to a deeper issue with his style of play. Antony has shown a reluctance to adjust his approach, despite the clear evidence that his current methods are not working. Instead of playing with more purpose and intelligence, Antony continues to rely on the same skill moves that served him well in the Eredivisie, but have become largely ineffective in the Premier League. His refusal to utilize his pace or engage in quick 1-2 passes with teammates has severely limited his impact. Perhaps the most glaring weakness in Antony's game, however, is his over-reliance on his left foot. For a player who operates primarily on the right wing, being so heavily one-footed is a major disadvantage. Antony almost exclusively uses his left foot for passing, dribbling, and shooting, which makes him highly predictable to defenders. When he cuts inside to shoot, defenders and goalkeepers can anticipate his moves and adjust accordingly. This predictability severely hampers Antony's ability to create dangerous opportunities. Legendary Manchester United midfielder Paul Scholes has been openly critical of Antony, labeling him a one-trick pony for his reliance on cutting inside to his left foot. Scholes has pointed out that Antony does not make intelligent runs off the ball, nor does he exploit space effectively. Instead, he often passes the ball back to his fullback, wasting attacking momentum. When he does try to take on defenders, his success rate is abysmally low, and he frequently ends up losing possession. While it's true that some elite wingers have thrived despite being one-footed, Arjen Robben is often cited as an example. It's important to remember that Robben had an exceptional ability to beat defenders and finish with precision. Antony, by contrast, has not shown the same level of effectiveness or intelligence in his play. Robben's dribbling and finishing were clinical, whereas Antony's decision-making has been poor and his execution inconsistent. The statistics from Antony's time at Manchester United further illustrate his struggles. In his last season, Antony managed a shooting accuracy of just 33%, a relatively low number for a winger in the Premier League. Season after that, that figure has dropped even further to 25%. Additionally, his average number of passes per game has decreased from 31 to around 22, indicating that Antony is either being bypassed by his teammates or is choosing to go it alone more often, with poor results. Despite his offensive shortcomings, Antony's defensive contributions have marginally improved this season. He has shown more willingness to track back and help out defensively, which is commendable. However, this is not what Manchester United paid €100 million for. Antony was brought in to be a creative force in the attack, not a player whose primary contribution is defensive work. One of the most frustrating aspects of Antony's play is his apparent lack of adaptation. Instead of recognizing that his skill moves are not working and adjusting his game accordingly, Antony continues to attempt the same tricks and dribbles. He often slows the game down, bringing the ball to a near halt before trying to beat his defender with a flashy move. More often than not, this results in lost possession or a stalled attack. At 24 years old, Antony still has time to develop and improve, but for a player who came with such a hefty price tag, the expectations are understandably high. Fans and pundits have been quick to criticize his lack of progress, and the pressure is mounting for Antony to justify his transfer fee. One area where he can make immediate improvements is in his decision-making. If his dribbling isn't working, he needs to move the ball quicker, engage in more give-and-go passing, and make smarter runs off the ball. These adjustments would not only make him more effective, but would also help him regain some confidence. Another area Antony must focus on is his weaker foot. While it's not uncommon for players to have a dominant foot, Antony's reliance on his left foot is extreme. Developing his right foot would make him a more versatile and unpredictable player. Being able to dribble, pass, and shoot with both feet would give him more options and make it harder for defenders to anticipate his moves. Off the pitch, Antony has also faced personal challenges. Allegations of domestic violence have surfaced, casting a shadow over his career. While these are still just allegations, and Antony is innocent until proven guilty, it's clear that the situation has affected him mentally. Balancing personal and professional challenges is never easy, but Antony must find a way to compartmentalize and stay focused on his football. If he allows these off-field issues to continue affecting his performances, his career could take a further nosedive. In conclusion, Antony's time at Manchester United has been far from the success many hoped for. His performances have been underwhelming, and his lack of progress has been frustrating for both the club, Manchester United's, and its fans. While there is still hope that he can turn things around, Antony must make significant changes to his game. He needs to improve his decision-making, develop his weaker foot, and play with more intelligence and efficiency. At 24 years old, he has time on his side, but the clock is ticking. And if Antony does not start showing signs of improvement soon, he risks being remembered as one of the most expensive flops in Premier League history. What do you think? Can Antony bounce back? Or has Manchester United made a costly mistake that they'll regret for years to come? Let us know your thoughts.